Hello my loves and welcome to today's video. You'll probably see a little head pop in every now and again. I've got a little visitor here. You watch your video? It's a good boy. Mama's working. And today I am doing my monthly book club. I know. I'm doing my monthly book club, and that is just because I'm not really going to have much of a chance to read that much this month. It's my birthday tomorrow, and then after that we have a really hectic couple of weeks, what with it being our son's birthday and also his dad's birthday, all in the space of sort of 8 days, so it's pretty hectic. But yeah, so the first one that I want to talk about is this, and it's a book by Sue Grafton. It's called C is for Corpse. It's one of her alphabet books, so she has like from A to V, I think. And this is the C one. It's really good. It's a Kinsey Millhone novel. She's a private investigator that the books are based around, and this is actually the first Sue Grafton book I've ever read. I've heard that she is a really good crime writer, but yeah, this is the first one that I've actually read, and so far I really like her writing. I would definitely read. Sorry, he's wobbling my camera, so he's going to have to go over there. I would definitely read more of her books, and I find them really interesting. I love crime novels. I really like sort of true crime and even just crime TV shows. I think they're brilliant, and sort of the way crime works absolutely fascinates me. So if you are into crime, Sue Grafton is definitely a really good author to read. In the sense that it's not a cop-based novel, and it's not like a serial killer-based novel. It's just about a woman who is a private investigator who figures out crimes. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And the next book, I'm having all my books handed to me. The next book that I want to talk about is, I have read a lot of these women's books before, and they really interest me. I absolutely love historical fiction, and I definitely like Philippa Gregory because they're not entirely fictional, but they're not entirely fact either. They're kind of like historical fact blended with historical fiction, so they're a mix of the two. And this one is Three Sisters, Three Queens. And this is one I haven't read yet. It's a bit of a beastie book, I will admit, and it's about Catherine of Aragon, Margaret, who was Henry VIII's oldest sister, and Mary, who was his younger sister, and it's about all three of them. And obviously Catherine of Aragon became Queen of England, Margaret became Queen of Scotland, became Mary Queen of Scots, and the youngest daughter, Mary, she became Queen of France. So it's just about sort of their relationships and how they get their queenhoods, whatever, how they became queen, and the ruthless ambition that was part of the Tudor dynasty and what created the Tudor dynasty. And if you love historical fiction, you will absolutely love this book. Okay, my next one is another crime book, and I'm sure many of you have heard of the author Kathy Reichs. Kathy Reichs wrote the books that the TV show Bones was based on, so Temperance Brennan is her character, and this is one of the books that I've recently read. It's called Bare Bones, and I have never read, again, I've never read one of the Kathy Reichs books before, and I picked this up in a charity shop for like 75p or something absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, it's a Temperance Brennan novel, and this one is it's quite complicated to follow, so if you want something that's easier to follow, this probably isn't the book for you. She is obviously a forensic anthropologist, meaning that she gets forensic evidence off of bones and sort of figures out how people were murdered or killed or whatever. And there is so many different depths to this story. There is sort of illegal animal smuggling, there is illegal animal poaching, there is the death of a stillborn, and that the mother got rid of the body by cremating it in a wood stove effectively. Then there's sort of like an aeroplane crash where there's literally nothing left of the bodies, but all of these are connected in some way or another, and there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of depth, and it's really, really fun to read. Again, definitely not the easiest thing in the world to read, but definitely one of the more interesting. Okay, and next up is this, and this is a book called Elfane's Choice by PC Cast, and this is a fantasy novel, and again, I picked these up in charity shops, and it's from a set of novels called the Goddess of Partholon novels. I don't believe this is the first one, but you can read them in any sort of order because they make sense, and they're all sort of joined. And her mother is basically the goddess's chosen one, and they live in a big Partholon and they have a wonderful life. And her father is a centaur shaman who, for some odd reason, although all of the children have the same father, this is the eldest daughter, and she is actually part human, part centaur, and because of this, they sort of revere her and they elevate her to a level that she really, really doesn't want, and she hates being referred to as goddess and stuff like that, and that's what people refer to her as. And she leaves the temple, and she goes to a very old family castle that was destroyed hundreds of years before, in a great battle of these people against a demon race called the Fomorians. And so she goes back and she starts to rebuild this castle with her brother. Her brother falls in love with the healer, who unfortunately dies, and he ends up destroyed. But also she gets injured running through a forest. She gets really badly injured, and she gets rescued by a winged man, and she later discovers that this winged man is actually half Fomorian. At the time, they don't know why, but the demon race's females started dying, so they could not reproduce. And so the male Fomorians went around and they raped human females, and a lot of the time the women didn't survive the birth. They were literally torn in half, but some women did, and this young lad was part of that. And there was a massive prophecy in their world where the hoofed goddess, effectively this woman here, would have to ingest their blood to get rid of the madness, the demon madness that was in their blood. And another part of it is that the goddess in these books create a life mate for every single person. Every single person has a soulmate, a life mate out there. Unfortunately, hers happens to be the half Fomorian guy, and obviously everybody just hates it, and they eventually figure it out, but there's a lot of injustice and prejudice and all sorts of other stuff. It's a really, really fun read. It's so well written. I do have some more of PC Cast's books, which hopefully I'll be reading really soon, but this is definitely one of my favourite books that I've read this month. It's absolutely it's fantastic, so well written, really, really interesting. If you like fantasy novels, you will really, really enjoy that. And finally, my last book that I want to talk about is this, and I'm sure if you read crime novels, you will have heard of Jo Nesbø, and this is a book called The Bat. Jo Nesbø is, I believe, Swedish or Norwegian, I'm not entirely sure, but he's a Swedish or Norwegian writer, and as you know, if you are a crime reader, that's actually where the best authors of these books come from. I don't know why, they just are very, very good at it. And this is the first book in the Harry Hole series. Harry Hole is a detective, and basically on this one, a young girl is on a gap year in Australia, and she gets murdered, and he gets sent over there to help out in the murder investigation. And they end up unearthing sort of other crimes and mysterious disappearances, and yeah, this is a serial killer book, and basically the killer will only talk to him, and also the killer has him as a victim in his sights. So it's all pretty tense. It's pretty nerve-wracking at times, because you get to know the character and you're really, really on his side, and you can sort of feel the fear and feel the tension that he's feeling. So Jo Nesbø is an absolutely fantastic author. I mean, really, really fantastic. And I would recommend any of his books. This is the only one I've read so far, but I will definitely be reading more. And yeah, so that is the end of my March book club. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you've been reading this month, because I absolutely love to hear what you guys have been reading. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and press the big red subscribe button. I will see you guys on Tuesday when I will be 24, because it's my birthday on Sunday, so I might have a little vlog for you. I may have a little bit of footage of my birthday for you. I will link all of the books down below and where you can buy them, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye bye.